All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are now back. Setia Virtual-X is back from our virtual auditorium. And as promised, we'll be featuring more webinar sessions by renowned speakers. So have you had your lunch or not? If you have, that's great. You can now sit down, sip a cup of coffee, and listen to us. And if you are still having your lunch, like some of us are, well, it's also okay because you can now makan sambil menikmati our webinars. So what is in store this afternoon? We have a speaker who has appeared yesterday in our session at 2:30 p.m. Now he's back. We have the world's #1 authority in Feng Shui and also Chinese metaphysics. Ladies and gentlemen, we now present again Dato Joey Yap.
Hey everyone, how are you guys doing? And thank you so much for inviting me back again for second session. And Amzar, you're having your lunch now. Thank you so much. It makes me feel hungry now. So, but it's great. I hope you guys are having a good time here with the virtual showroom right now. And today, it's going to be a little bit different than how we were doing it yesterday, where it was a Q&A about the game plan for the upcoming, couple of months and next year. Well, today I am going to talk about a little bit about investments for the long term and how we can create certainty and security for the future. Okay, so of course I will be talking about through the perspective of metaphysics, and hopefully you guys are not maybe if you're not heard about Feng Shui before, or you've not heard about Bazi or any metaphysics before, that's fine, because I'm going to take you through from perspective of a layman, and the end result is we want to learn what we could do in the event that this crisis prolongs and how we could benefit from it. Okay, so I prepared some slides here. This presentation will be about 20 minutes, and then we have our host, Amza, will come back, and then we're going to have a chit chat, and we're going to answer some questions as well. So for those of you who would like to ask any question along the way, we do have a chat system running at the same time. So if you would just type in at the live chat that you see on your screen right now, and let me know you're here, and if you need clarification on certain points, and tell me what would you like to learn for the next coming, to prepare for the next 5 months or so. Now, I know you're going to say, I just want to make more money, right? We'll talk about that and see whether we could find a way for us to get there in the, the best possible way to reach to our goals. Okay, so let's have a look at the slides that I've prepared today. If I could just load them up to the screen. So the topic for what I'm going to discuss here is about investments for the long-term certainty and security. Now, we all know that right now we are in the, well, we could say that we are in a crisis because COVID-19, it's one of the biggest obstacles to what everyone is facing right now. And it's just announced here in Malaysia that the new strain that was found is 10 times faster, spreads faster than the previous strain. And this is, of course, scary for a lot of us who just reopened our economy. Now, the thing is this, right? Between crisis, there's always opportunities, okay? Now, we say that, we talk about that, but a lot of people, as you know, may not be able to benefit from the opportunity because simply we are maybe still in a state of panic. We are not in the state of expansion, and we may not be in the state of growth where we are willing to take a little bit more risk, calculated risk, of course. And of course, we are not in sync with the flow of wealth, and we don't want to educate ourselves. So then these opportunities, although maybe amongst what we're happening right now in the times of crisis, but we won't be able to recognize it simply because we're not aware of it, or we don't put ourselves in a position to be able to benefit from it. So hopefully today's session, I may be able to share some points with you on what we could do possibly to get to the point where we could benefit from the opportunities. Now, in crisis, we have to understand there are basically just two parts. Parts of it we can't control. Okay, we can't control that now there's a new stream that is 10 times more deadlier or faster spreading than before. We can't control whether the second wave, third wave, or whatsoever it's happening. We can't control how the direction of the economy is. But there's always a portion that we could control. And the part that we can control would be related to our own life. Okay. Now, we can control life. The fact that we are still alive right now is that because we have exercised a certain form of decision making, a certain form of choices that we make that allow us to be here today. I mean, everyone who's here right now listening, joining our virtual exhibition, joining this seminar right now is a choice. You made a choice and you're here, and then we are here today. We're talking to one another. So the thing is, we got to ask ourselves, what is life, right? Life is a matter of energy and time. Just think about it, right? That our entire life is a matter of energy and time. Now, we always think that we will run out of time, right? Oh, we might run out of time one day. We're going to run out of time. Listen, time just continues regardless of whatever, okay? The thing is our energy. The moment our life force energy is completed, then that's it. That's the end of our life. So life itself is a mixture of this energy that we have in the time span that we are given. Now, the funny thing is this, right? Some people do not so much in 10 years, whereas some people use their energy a lot in 1 year and achieve what other people could only do in 10 years' time. How you choose to use your energy, it's a matter of your own choices, a management of your own perspectives, your own decision making, and that's what leads me to today's topic, which is about investment for the long term. Where we put our energy to intensively in the amount of time that we're given would allow us to either benefit, succeed, and or fail or suffer in the next couple of months or even in the year that is coming. Okay. So I think the main question a lot of people are asking is, when will this pandemic be over? Okay. Well, the thing is, the pandemic, if you just follow the cycle, now I can't tell you exactly when we're over, but it seems that Russia has come up with the vaccine already. As long as you have a vaccine, to us, it might be next year, but it seems that Russia is faster than most people. Maybe their vaccine is vodka. We don't know. So, but if that comes out, maybe the pandemic is over. But the thing is this, the pandemic is only a catalyst to a financial crisis or the problems that is happening around the world. Okay. So if you look energetically, the planetary influence, if you were here yesterday, you were heard that me and Amza were talking about the so-called transition of planetary influences, which happens around December, mid-December until March next year, which could lead to another wave of issues and challenges for us. The question is, how do we prepare for it? Now, just so I know that everyone here is listening, how many of you were here since yesterday? Were you here part of our Q&A yesterday? We just type a 1 at the chat group here, so I could see if you guys were here yesterday. And if you type number 2 in the chat, it means this is the first time you're listening to our conversation right now. Okay, so go ahead and type on the chat to let me know whether you are first time or you are listening to this already on the second day. Okay, so because today is a continuation of our discussion from yesterday. Okay, so a lot of you are number 1, SD Gan, Mabel is 1, so which means you guys are here for the second time. Wow, nice to see you again. All right, Tony Lau, all right, this is the first session with me. Nice. Okay, cool. And have some of you heard my seminars before? If you have heard of my seminars before, type number 3. If you heard my seminars before, if you've been to any of my events, virtual or live, type number 3. Cool. Wow, many of you first time. Nice. Thank you. Right, I'm looking at the chat right now as you guys are communicating and listening to this event. So at any one point, you can talk to me just like you are in a live event right now. So Sandy Lee, you've been to my events. Tony Lau, SD Gan, Sally Lau, nice to see you here again. Okay, so today's session is about how we're going to use our energy for long-term certainty and security. So it will be from the point of perspective of metaphysics, but I'm sure if you can manage the energy, because you think about it, thoughts, emotions, our body, our life force itself are all energy. How we use this in the next couple of months, particularly until March next year, will probably determine whether the next couple of years before the major transition to what we call the period 9 or cycle 9 takes place in 2024. Okay, So let's talk a little bit about what's the big change first, right? Well, the big change is the so-called financial challenges that is happening around the world. I don't like to use the word financial crisis, but then again, I already explained that in crisis, there are opportunities, okay? So this probably is not due to anything that is happening right here, but more so with the probably the dollar crash that's happening probably in the States, but it will start with smaller countries first, okay? Right now, what you have in the system is this, right? You have the basic consumer level that is going to come to the end of the moratorium in September, and possibly around the world where the stimulus package is going to end. Okay, so that part will affect all consumers, and small businesses will get affected because they too need to start their repayments, and that affects the financial system, which is the banks. The financial system was the main crash that happened in 2008. If you remember the last rat year, which is 2008, that caused the financial crisis that happens because the banks have issue, okay? But the consumer level and the commercial level, the small business had no issues back then, okay? Right now is like the governments of the world, they are supporting the financial system, supporting the commercial, and they're also supporting the consumer level, all from their penthouse up there, okay? So, which means there could be instability that is happening. Now, the thing is, not to panic, but what can we do in this time period? This is very important because it is in times of these challenges that a lot of new millionaires and multimillionaires are created. That is because when the market corrects itself, when the market dips, there will be a lot of opportunities that we could see, but we need to prepare for it. So since this topic is about investment, the thing is, should everybody invest? That's the first question, okay? Now, it depends on what type of investment we're talking about. Yesterday, when we were here, we talked about 4 things. The first level of wealth is when we are working for money. Okay, that's the first level of wealth. We work 9 to 5, we use our time, get a salary, we work for money. So if you can improve in your work, you probably improve in your salary and you climb your way all the way up, okay? The second level where we can make much more money or wealth is to invest in a special ability called influence. Influence can be called sales, or it can be called leadership, but we need to be able to influence. When you can influence or you can sell, then your income increases depending on the commission that you get and also the price of the product that you're selling. Now, then you have more control over the wealth you're making. That's level 2. When you're in this special category, you could be at the C levels, or you could be at the sales of you start promoting a special product or service, or you have a special skill set and so forth. Then your income exponentially grows. Okay, so you can invest in this point number 2, right, which is the ability to influence. Suppose you go a bit higher. We discussed yesterday. That's level 3. Level 3 is the ability or to have an ownership of an asset producing cash producing asset, which means you want to own a business. Okay, when you own a business or have shares of a business, you share the profits. Okay, so this is one way to also exponentially improve your income. Now, of course, as we said yesterday, not all businesses succeed on its own. It depends on the business leader. If a business owner or leader doesn't have level 1 and 2 experience and it jumps straight to level 3, that person might not succeed in business. Okay, level 4, which is extremely important, which everyone thinks they want to get to, is the ability to become something like a bank yourself, right? It means you become lending money. You lend money to others. And what does it mean by you lend money to others? That means you start investing in equity, ownership of other people. You put your money in, that you're lending the money, and you take back a percentage of their profits or of their future earnings. Okay, so you're like people say, loan shark, right? You lend your money out, right? But in a legal way, of course. So that is a layman's term for investing. Okay, now the problem is when people want to jump from level 1 to level 4. Right? You jump from level 1 to level 4, it requires a totally different skill set. It requires a totally different level of timing and energy. You can't just jump. Now, if you don't have a reserve of 6 months or more, because I said that yesterday, right? You need at least that amount here. If you don't have this in hand, I would suggest you get that first before you start to invest, because really you can't just invest with your savings alone, because that's very risky, especially during times like this. You need to have certain foundation of safety. When you have that first, then we can talk. If you don't have that, your first point of investment should be investing in a skill set to develop your safety net first. If you have extra money, you have an extra that won't kill you even if you lose it, then you can start to talk about investing. Now, if you invest money, you can't make money with $10,000. You're not going to make money with an investment of $1 million, because the strategies used to make 10,000 and to make 100,000 or a million is the same strategy. It's not the amount of money that matters. It's whether or not you know how to make money with money. So that's the thing that we need to learn. Okay. So if you look at life as time and energy, really, if your energy is positive, you'll be on an upward spiral. Things start happening in your favor. Positive events, you meet with good opportunities, you meet with the right people, the right mentors in your life, and so on and so forth, right? If you have negative energy, right, time is the same for everybody, but you have negative energy, time is longer for you, right? If you are miserable, it seems that time is longer, right? If you're happy, time passes very fast, too quickly sometimes. When you're enjoying yourself, time goes very quickly. But when you're not enjoying yourself, oh my God, it's like one day can seem like 1 week, right or not? So when you're on a downward spiral, you need to get out of the downward spiral. That's energetically, okay? So how do you see that in a person's life? Really, upward spiral is where from a balanced energy level, the higher you go, you become prosperous. Even higher, you make impact in other people's lives. When your energy is low, you feel that there's not enough out there in this market right now. You keep asking yourself, when will the pandemic be over? When will all these problems be over? If you ask dumb questions like that, it means that what you're expecting is the environment should change to suit me. You know that that's not going to happen, right? The environment will change, and the new norm is already set. It's either you change or you don't change, right? So if you're lost and you're on a scarcity level, then your energy level is simply on a downward spiral. The reason I give you this slide right now is so that you could recognize how does it look like or feel like when you are in an upward or downward spiral of energy, okay? Now, so there are 7 things that you could actually do at this point in time. And I'll share with you some of the things that you can do using metaphysics shortly, but let me tell you what it is first. And if you follow through with this, you don't have to do all 7, by the way, just do one of them. If you follow one of this, you can get closer to the upward spiral. That's how you should invest in you first. The first person you should invest is you. And the reason you do that is you want to get through the 4 levels. You want to get to the ability to become a lender yourself. You have enough money, you lend people, right? You lend people so that you get returns on your money. Your money is working hard for you. So that's what an investor generally means, okay, in a layman's term. But if you are not enough money yourself, then you better start improving your 9 to 5s or improving a special skill set so that you could sell, influence, or make more money with the same number of hours, okay? Suppose that doesn't happen and you expect and wish and just hope that things will change. It's not going to change for the better. That's the problem, okay? In fact, situations might be even dicier as it comes because of the biggest transition that's happening in December till March, and that could cause even more financial instability for a lot of people, for those who are not prepared. For those who are prepared, it will be like Disneyland, okay? Because you're going to have a lot of opportunities for you to be able to purchase things at a very good price, own new assets, form new teams, start your businesses. So you got to get yourself to an upward spiral. That's the goal of our short discussion today, okay? So here's the thing, right? What should we be doing? Well, there are 7 things that you should be doing and thinking about if you would really want to make a change. The first thing here is this. The first shift is a shift in education. What we need right now to survive this crisis, and you can put you can screen capture this and put a circle and put a note this around here, okay, guys? This is so important. The first thing that you want to do right now to survive or thrive in 2020, for the rest of 2020 and 2021, which is possibly more difficult in 2020, it's a shift in knowledge, a shift in education. It's what you know that will get you through this. It's whether or not you educate yourself with the right knowledge. If you don't have the right education, okay, if you don't have the right education to understand how the financial markets and investment markets work right now, you don't know, you're just waiting for the auntie, uncle to give you all those advice, you're going to be in for a tough ride, okay? Knowledge will determine the outcome of your journey. You must remember this. Knowledge will determine the outcome of your journey. So your first thing, if you don't have that hundreds of thousands or millions to start investing, the first thing you want to do is to get knowledge. You must get knowledge, you must find it, and you must acquire this. The second thing you want to do is focus. What is your area of focus? right? Do you want to focus on level 1, which is your 9 to 5, to become better, just a more secure, steady job? Or do you want to focus on building that sales influence ability? Do you want to focus on increasing the amount of money you make within 1 hour? Okay, because you're selling your time right now, right? You're selling your time. You don't make no mistake. We are all selling our time. It's a question of whether your 1 hour is worth more than other people's 1 hour, right? So you got to focus on your direction where you concentrate energy. Most people don't. I still see people like hanging out in the beach, right? Chilling, spending time. Listen, it's not that they shouldn't do it, but the thing is, can you afford it? You say, yeah, I can afford a couple of thousand just to chill on the beach. Yes, you can. But don't forget, this is the time of crisis where there are opportunities. Every day you don't increase your ability in your influence, your ability in your skill set, you are losing out to others who do. The economy is fair to everyone. The economy and the financial crisis is colorblind, is racial blind. It doesn't matter who. It's equal to everybody. It's just like the virus. Virus doesn't care who you are, whether you are a VIP or just an ordinary person. It's gonna be the same for everybody. So it's those who have the right education and find focus. And number 3, you got to have the right emotional control right now, because investment itself, the reason why people lose money, because 80% of them cannot control their emotions. It's very simple, right? Oh, this share price going up, let's go and buy it. You just react on emotion but not on intelligence. And when that happens, you're going to have an issue, right? So the last 97 crisis, 2008 crisis, if you have learned something from those 2 crises, some of you are probably listening to this, are millennials, you're too young to have experienced that. If you've gone through that and you want to tell yourself that you never want to be in a situation where you run out of cash and you want to be in difficulties, you would have done something back then to prevent yourself from falling into the same traps, okay? So having emotional control is extremely important. Now, if you can't do that, number 4 is very important. Who are your mentors right now? Who are your teachers? Who are your people who you can turn to for advice? Don't wait until the second wave or third wave of problems happen before you find someone who can teach you what to do. Listen, either A, you educate yourself by reading the books, or B, you'll find someone who have been there, done that, and you build a relationship with them, and so that they could teach you something. You know, it's not who you know, but who you know well. A lot of people know a lot of people in life, right? But you know them on a surface level is not enough. You got to be knowing so well that you could actually ask for counsel and ask for advice. Not everyone will pick up the phone and say, hey, you know, I'm going to help you with this. No, most people just, hi, bye, how are you? You know, that's sort of level. So it's not good, right? And you need new strategies and tactics. That's level 5, right? The 5th is shift in the way you do things. It's no longer the same buying, equity right now, buying the properties right now, investing in your whatever you want to invest in right now is very different than what it was before the crisis. Right now, even negotiating for rent itself has changed. You got to understand the market much better than before, because the market has changed, right? Rental markets have changed. The negotiation, what's your average price? Those has changed. And if you don't change your strategy, you're not going to be able to survive right now. And you might need new platforms online right now. See, this for example, for me, is the first time using Microsoft Teams. But guess what? I'll do this coming week. I'm going to get all my team members to learn how to do Microsoft Teams, because all this while I was using Zoom. So new technology, whether you like it or not, new platform is emerging, and we got to master that, okay? So a lot of people who are the older generation who are not good at new tech have to learn new tech, because this is how the way goes, okay? This is how the new norm is moving. And the 7th shift is a shift in your allocation of resources. Because savings right now, if you just save it in the bank, you're going to lose money due to the fact that money has become smaller and less value, okay? So are you going to save in gold? Are you going to save in land, right? Are you going to save in properties? How are you going to plan your savings so that you can hedge it against the inevitable crisis that is coming soon? So if you think, I'm just going to put this money under my pillow, that would be, putting a pillow means putting in a savings account. That would be the most ridiculous thing ever, right? If you go to put it even in an FD right now, I think the percentage is what? Less than 2%, right? I'm sure you can find other things that will give you stability that's better than less than 2%. And so if you don't understand this, that 2% is not going to even cover the inflation that is higher than that. So which means your money is actually becoming smaller. So the thing is, people don't know about that, and therefore they have issues. So what can we do then? Okay, besides good now, if you don't know how to use Feng Shui, then or metaphysics, then this 7 things is something you can concentrate on and go and think about. Now, if you want to use a bit of Feng Shui, because after all, we are in a that's also one of my strengths, using the environment to make some changes. Let's talk about possibilities from our environment. So I want to show you a few things that is you can manage. So this is how this is the game plan that I will talk about, where maybe you could plan this out on your own to make a possible change. This is the first thing here, okay, for you, yeah. On whether or not you go through the 7, first thing, secure your job. I said before, okay. If this is most important for you, I wouldn't recommend you to change a job if you, especially right now. I know you may say, but I don't like my job. You don't have to like it. You just have to like being paid, okay? A lot of people also don't like what they do. Doesn't matter, right? Don't get your feelings involved. It's not personal. Do a job and do it well, get paid, and use the money to increase your level in that function. Because right now, it's a bit risky out there. So this is the first level. Anyone can do, okay? If you don't already have a job, don't talk about investment. Go and get a job first, okay? This is important, yeah? I'm serious, because if you don't have a job, I'm going to talk about investment. Unless you've been there, done that, you don't need a job, can. But if you need to survive, you're going to need to get a job first. Get something that helps pays the bill and give you stability. I'll show you a way to get this with Feng Shui, but this is what you need to do regardless of Feng Shui or not, okay? The second thing you want to do, if you already have a job, side gigs. This is something that you want to plan to initiate instantaneously as of after listening to this talk right now, okay? This is very, very important, okay? So I'm going to show you a way for you to enhance your ability to do a side gig. Now listen, if you are freaking lazy, then God also cannot help you, yeah? Because that's just your attitude issue, okay? No amount of Feng Shui can make you unlazy. Or make you hardworking. It's your matter of choice. Some people are, I've seen friends and millennials is like, hanging out, chilling. Listen, you can chill right now, but in the next 3 to 4 years, you'll be regretting because things are not looking that great out there. Okay, so secure a job, and number 2, secure a side gig. A side gig basically means do you get paid from 5 to 12 o'clock? Okay, now unless you have a great sales job. Because a sales job, you make money from a commission, and if you sell something that is really, really high in value, you will be able to get that value across, right? So, or if you're selling something, then your side gig should be more sales. Your ability to sell more times 2, times 3, times 10. Now, the thing is, a lot of people like to do what they call, they like to settle, okay? Especially nowadays, back in those days, they are the 40-year-olds that like to settle. Settle means, I got kids and wife. I don't want to take the risk. That's called settling. But nowadays, even millennials settle, right? There's a big problem now. So, and they're happy just playing whatever video games and watching YouTube. That's the problem, right? This new transition right now that we are going through is very similar to the ones that's happened in 1930s. If you look at all the cycle that's happened, and that wiped out a major portion of the population in terms of the wealth gap. Okay, the rich become richer, the poor simply becomes poorer, and you don't want to get to that level, right? So you want to be able to have something on the side to be able to generate wealth for you, and this is the time to do it. Okay, so the next thing that you want to do now, no matter what, now you may think I am already a senior manager in a company, I am already very, very stable in my job. Listen. The problem is not what is given to you. The problem is when the environment changes, can you still survive? That's the key, okay? So what you need is an ultimate skill. What is your number 1 superpower? This is important, right? Now, this is not something you learn in school. Now, what are ultimate skills? I can explain. For example, if you can sell by speaking, can you sell in writing? Selling writing means called copywriting. You're able to write and influence. If you don't know, go learn now. This is the time to learn, right now. Okay, or for example, can you speak? Can you, as in you speak on stage, as you could speak and do a sales pitch online? You say, I don't know how to do it. Well, learn. Do you know how to write a presentation? Do you know how to design a talk? So if you don't know, why don't you do that? These are something that you should be doing. If you don't know how to write a book, learn to write a book. You don't have a specific ultimate skill that could turn your 1 hour to 10,000 ringgit or 10,000 to 20,000 ringgit. This is the time to learn. Okay. Now, this is something that it's not like you just wait here and you meditate and suddenly one day you wake up, oh, I have this skill. You cannot go and then think about this skill. This skill requires development. If you think about it, right, singers, performers, they got an ultimate skill, right? You think about people who are great investors, their investment in share market, that's also an ultimate skill. You look at everyone who is successful, they have one thing that sets them apart from other people. So go and get this skill. It could be a great networking skill, but you gotta have this skill. This is called an ultimate skill set. Many people don't realize that the fact that they need to learn, even if you are a CFO, CEO in any position, you still need that skill. I've seen CEOs who lost their jobs. I've seen CFOs that lost their jobs. Okay, but if you have a very special ultimate skill, could be a business skill. If you can have that, your ability to convert financial numbers into information that business owners can act on. That means you're a great CFO, you have that skill set, it can be your ultimate skill, you make great money with it. So, or you are someone who can make music, you can write stories. So this is so important to develop that thing right now while the world's slowing down. Is your opportunity to learn this. Okay, so anyone that I meet right now who is working for other people, I recommend doing this. Even if you have a small business, I also recommend doing this. If you don't have this skill set, you won't have enough funds or cash to actually play the game of investment. You think about it. Where are you going to get the cash to invest? Right? You can't just go to your mom and dad and ask for money all the time, right? Not, yeah. So for me, the knowledge that I learned since I was young, it's not. I was in accounting school, by the way, just in case you guys think that I studied this Feng Shui before that. No, actually, I was in accounting. I got an accounting degree. But what I did on the side, my side gig was doing Feng Shui consults or metaphysics consults. My ultimate skill is the ability to speak, do presentations, and go on stage and talk to people. I learned that on my own. So I get paid by speaking. I can do events, but that I have to learn myself. I wasn't born with it. So without this skill, even with my knowledge that I've learned, I won't be able to expand and grow. You see what I mean? So look at all the people who are out there who succeed, who become millionaires or multimillionaires. They have something that ordinary folks haven't acquired yet. But ordinary folks, just like you and I, can get it too. Okay. Now, the next thing is, if you have the ultimate skills, consider starting a business at this point in time. From August till about mid-December, great time to consider getting an opportunity, business partners together, raise the resources. Now, if you have 1, 2, 3, starting a business is not difficult at all. If you don't have 1, 2, and 3 job, gigs, or a skill, starting a business is a little bit difficult. Then you will have this problem. I don't know what to start. I don't know what I should sell. I don't know how to do a business. Of course, you don't know, you don't know a job, don't have side gigs, don't have ultimate skill, sure, don't know, right or not? So there's a proper methodical way to get there. And finally, when you have all this, you can consider investment opportunities, okay? You can consider investment opportunities because now you would have the funds, you have the ability to do so. Okay, now I'm going to add in a Feng Shui component here before I go to Q&A with you guys. Okay, in the meantime, go ahead and type all your questions on the comment section that you see on the chat group. Okay, anything about this that you want to know, I can explain more. I see Sivaraja asking, can we use Feng Shui as a means of COVID prevention? No, it cannot. Okay, if that it can be done that way, I'll be faster than the Russian government. Even Putin will not be as good as me, right now. So no, it cannot be done, okay? Because what we can do is that we can increase our ability to become a more financially secure, a positive-minded person, a person who see opportunities as opposed to seeing negativity all the time, okay? All right, so let me try and explain some Feng Shui perspective here. Now, what I want to show you is this, okay? There will be this you see here on this slide here. You want to make a copy of this. This is called a Feng Shui chart for 2020. Okay, this is a Feng Shui chart for 2020. If you don't like the word Feng Shui because it sounds so Feng Shui, right? Use the term energy map. Okay, use the term energy map. Everything is energy. Everything, even your thoughts right now. Right now, you're thinking, is this real? Is this not real? That thought with energy. It requires energy to think. It requires energy to talk. It requires energy to digest your food. It requires energy to love somebody. It also requires energy to hate someone, to argue with someone, to talk to someone. Everything is energy, okay? It takes energy to be creative. It takes energy to destroy, okay? So everything that goes through your life right now, it's about energy. And it seems to be that energy is also in the environment. So what you see right now in this chart that you see on your screen right now, this is called the energy map of 2020. And it goes with certain directions. Now, I don't have time to go into details of this, but I'm going to show you certain ways of application. Just remember, these numbers are not your lucky numbers. It's not your lucky number. It doesn't mean you have a number on your chest or on your shirt, you're going to have good luck, okay? It's not like that. If it was so easy, you can just cure COVID-19 by putting a number on your screen, your chest. It's not like this, okay? These numbers just represent certain types of energy that is in your environment right now, okay? So I'm going to show you what it means, and I'm going to show you how you apply, and then I'm going to Q&A talking to you guys here, okay? So let's, and in the meantime, guys, all of you, go ahead and type your questions on the chat right now, okay? And if you have questions about your business, you have questions about whether or not you should change your job, not change your job, do something, not do something, write it down, write your concern on the chat, and I'll pick up a few, and then I will use what I just discussed here to help some of you arrive at a conclusion decision yourself, okay? So before I start here, tell me one thing, okay? How many of you here, remember the 4 levels of making money? How many of you here are level 1? Work for other people, work 9 to 5. That's where you want to make your money and you want to do a better job. Type number 1. For those of you who are trying to get a new skill, right, to sell, to influence, to lead, so that you can make a bit more money, so that your number of hours now generate more, type number 2 in the chat. For those of you who want to own a business or to grow your business so that your profits increase, type number 3 in the chat right now, okay? And for those of you who are number 4, who want to invest, you got lots of extra money and extra pocket money, and you would like to use that to actually make an investment so that your money works harder for you, type number 4 in there. And here's the thing, don't type 1, 2, 3, 4, otherwise I have to give you a slap out there, yeah? Listen, you gotta be clear. Choose one first lah, yeah? You start one by one, I'm sure everybody want 1, 2, 3, 4, right now? So you choose one, okay? Which one is it that you're needing? So I can see here you type, so I understand. So I will help you address some of this in a short way, okay? So now, while you're typing 1, 2, 3, 4 here, let's go on to talking what to do with it. So now, these are the number of stars that are affecting the areas that I'm telling you right now, okay? So if you are running a job, you want your job to be better, make as in just increase maybe 10%. I don't know whether you can just keep your job and make 10 or 20% more, hopefully. Go for star 6, okay? Go for star 6. Just remember this for a while. I'll tell you what to do with it shortly. Just remember star 6. Those who want to start a side gig, like you want to make some extra money from the extra time you have, use star 8. Star 8. I'll tell you how to use it shortly. I know you're like, how do I use it? Don't worry. I'll tell you, okay? Those of you who would like to learn a new skill, so that your new skill can exponentially grow your per hour charges, star 4. Those of you who want to start a new business or to enhance an existing business, star 1, okay? Those who want to go for investment opportunities, star 9. Now listen, if you are at the job level, for God's sake, please don't jump to investment opportunities, yeah? Because first you secure your income first, right? If you don't have 12 to 6 months with you right now, it's risky. Because investment requires knowledge. You don't know, simply put, then you PK already, then got a big problem, you know. So you cannot simply do this. This is not the time to do it. When times are prosperous, you can take higher risk. When times are not so prosperous, you have to take calculated risk. You got to be very, very careful with this, okay? So don't jump if you're not ready to jump. If you can't make money with 10,000, you can't make money with $1 million, okay? That's a simple rule, yeah? All right, so ready? Let's talk about it. So what you need to do is you need to turn your house, you put a compass over your house. This is one of a sample of a house, and you're gonna look for the areas in the house by superimposing the numbers over the house like this, okay? So let's say now the job is what you're looking for, the job, okay? You're looking for you want to secure your job, then go to the southeast area where star 6 is, and you want to make your major career decisions, career planning, answering to your bosses, talking to your bosses from the southeast area. You don't have to sleep in there. Yeah, many people think, should I sleep in there? No, you work from there. Okay, most of the time our success comes from the hours that we are awake. We don't sleep our way to success. Yeah, nobody does that unless you prostitute. Yeah, but even prostitute also need to be awake. So you need to stay alert to work, right? So you work from that area. Okay, now if you are saying, I want a side gig, I already okay my job, I want a secondary job, I want to be able to make some money from 5 to 12 o'clock at night to have in online business or something, go for star 8. Star 8 is in northwest sector. So use that area, put your laptop there, start thinking, planning, and doing your work. 1 hour a day. Remember the hour of power we discussed yesterday? Now, suppose you say, no, I want to learn new skill. I want to be able to speak. I want to go on stage. I want to be able to sell on stage. I want to be able to influence 100 people. I want to be able to write a new book. I want to do copywriting. Fine. Go for star 4. That's in the southwest sector. Do your work from that area 1 hour a day. And so some of you say, no, I'm not interested in that. I just want to start my business. I'm looking for partners. I'm looking for, an opportunity. I'm studying the market right now. What should I do? Well, go for star 1. Star 1, it's actually in northeast area. And finally, for those who have the extra cash and have the capacity to do so and would like to invest and find new opportunities to invest, then go for star 9, which is in the west area. Choose one. Now, I know what you're saying. Say, can I just go for all 4 then? Listen, remember time and energy? You can't, there's limited amount of time in the next couple of months to keep jumping one thing to another. 1 hour a day in one area, focus on one. Remember, we have 7 shifts, focus on one of these, and you should be able to get there in a very short period of time. Okay, so there you go. All right, so now I will be picking some questions, of course, but then this is my short part on the presentation. Let's bring Amza back in first, and then we can actually pick some questions and see how we're doing with time.
Hello, Dato. That was a very interesting talk that we have had here.
Thank you.
Well, apparently investment, money, properties, or increasing your wealth is also investment on yourself and how you want to grow your skills, right?
Correct.
All right. I would like to bring a short attention to the 7 shifts that you have just shared with us earlier, specifically to numbers 2 and 5. So let's start with number 2 first. Number 2 states focus to direct your chi and your intentions. Yes. So to us, some of us who might be uninitiated, how do we do this? How do we find the chi? How do we then direct it? That's all yours.
Well, very good question. That's why I put the word intention. Chi is just your energy, right? So if we don't know how to describe this word, the word means energy, like thoughts, like feelings, like emotions. Right, emotion is energy. Emotion also is chi. Right. So you see, when we direct our emotion, let's say we think about something positive, but we don't feel positive, then our focus is out. We think positive but don't feel positive. There are situations like that, right? Well, our mind tells us something and we don't feel like that. No, that one is out of focus. When the mind thinks positive, the heart must also feel positive. So if you don't have that alignment, then you cannot get the outcome that you intend to get. So let's say now you think of doing a job, but then you don't feel like doing the job. Then how to do?
That means you must not doubt yourself.
You must control the feeling. The feeling must align with your thought. Okay, that's very important. The feeling aligned with thought is the ultimate level of life transformation.
All right, that's pretty clear, Dato. So that means everything in ourselves, our thoughts, energies must be aligned in order for this to work. Right, let's go to number 5 then. It is said that number 5, we must explore new tactics. Well, most of us would have this question. In this crisis, in this situation where options can be somewhat limited, for example, I give you an example. People start businesses online. Perhaps they advertise themselves on Facebook, on Instagram, and the simplest business that they can start from home using not too much levels of skill would be cooking. So some would start to sell rendang, sambal, and things like that. It's the easiest point of entry into business. So the question is, if many people think of the same thing, do the same thing, is it even worth for me to jump into the sea, jump into this pool, and do what others do? Is it even
It's
worth
okay.
it? So this is a question.
Yes, because you are not trying to go in there and then make like 10 million, 20 million bucks, ma. You're trying to get like maybe just 20, 30% more, right? So the way to do that is not just focus on the rendang and the cooking, is to focus on the ability to generate market leads, right? Because most of the people doing the rendang and all that, they don't know how to do market leads. So why don't we focus on the ability to generate the market leads so that more people buy your rendang, right? So that is the new way of doing something, right? So a lot of people are focused. The old way is, I'm going to create the best rendang in the world.
Yeah.
Maybe it is the best, but only 5 fellas know, right? So, but if you make second best rendang, but 2,000 people know, your second best will win. I give you an example. Does McDonald's sell the best burgers in the world?
Arguably, yes.
The best tasting burger you have ever tasted in your life is from McDonald's? Really?
No.
No. McDonald's
Nope.
don't sell the best burgers in the world, but they are the #1 restaurant in the world. Better than all our favorite restaurants in the world. #1 restaurateur in the world, than all Michelin star restaurants is actually McDonald's, but they don't serve the best food. They have the most powerful market share because they have dominated the leads. They make it consistent that no matter, let's say we all Malaysians travel out, all of us travel out, and we don't know the local food, first place we look for is McDonald's because we know the food tastes the same, no matter where we are, right now. So
Yes.
that's one of the things we think about. So the thing about the new market right now is this, right? The way to reach the market has changed. The way to reach to your market has changed. So when we understand that the way has changed and we seek that way, our market share increases, whereas the product creation, we don't have focused too much money on. The most expensive part, as you would understand, is when we put a lot of money in R&D to produce the best product, right? Like in our case here, the best rendang in the world. But the best will not be able to reach out if we don't know the new market. Therefore, it requires a new tactic.
So it's a matter of completely evolving and revolving your tactics that you use as and when you see fit.
Yes.
All right, that's pretty clear. Dato, earlier on you shared a slide where you had showed Setia Virtual-X in searching for the flying stars and their positioning. Well, that brings me to a point whereby Setia Virtual-X, as with some of our projects like Calico City and some of the projects which have natural flowing water. And I've heard that flowing water is a good generator or carrier of chi. Could you explain more on that, please?
Yes. So the environment needs to be alive also, lah. Yeah. You know, there's such a thing called a dead place, right? So have you been to a place? Oh, this place so dead, right? So one of the ways to see, right, is when you go to a place, right, where there are not so many people, the way to see it alive is you look at all the plantation, you look at the trees, you look at whether there are a lot of birds and also good water flow. That's how you see whether this place is alive or not. So lively with energy. So water flow is, as we say yesterday, is like the blood of the environment. So with that, it allows you to understand that this area has got more energy for us to tap to. Whereas we go to the area where you don't have that, then you have to make your own water, lah. Yeah, it's not so. It's like artificially putting a pump into your body and then creating oxygen. You know, so natural is the best. I've been to the place. Setia Temple, and the area is actually very nice because of the river flow there. In fact, I recommended a client to get a property there.
Wonderful. He must be a lucky man. Okay, so flowing water is very important because it makes the area alive and, like we spoke yesterday, more pleasant.
Yep.
Dato, and likewise, just like yesterday, we had moved from investment to economics and into some areas of relationship. So speaking of relationship, we have a question here from Heather Koo. She has asked, I presume she's in love right now. She has asked, is this a good year to get married since this year has double tune?
No, we got good or bad year to get married is okay, right? I would think now there's a reason why I would think it's not such a great time to get married, only because right now cannot invite people, and then also you want to save costs, okay? Because you want the cash right now to use it to go and acquire assets. You can marry. The whole ceremony costs money, not that you don't get married, right? You can marry later. But if you think is that an astrological thing that will cause you, if you marry this year, then you're going to have like a bad marriage. No. It's not like that, because astrology is about the personality and character. So if your personality and character is you can develop into a more understanding nature, more value in supporting one another, you're gonna be all right marrying whatever year is fine. But this year, the more advisable thing for finance, because this is an investment topic here. If I were you, I got a choice. I would save the money for investing.
All right. So Heather, don't worry, you still can get married, but there are other priorities in this crisis. Don't worry, speak to your partner about this. I think you can come to a conclusion and a very good agreement. All right. We also have a question here from Gilbert Chan. He has asked, Can Feng Shui tell me what business is suitable for me that I will excel in?
Feng Shui doesn't tell you what business you will excel in. Astrology might reveal a little bit more, like which areas will possess more opportunities for you. But most of the time, where areas that has most opportunities, they are usually more difficult. And the thing is, people may not be okay with difficult. Most people want easy. So if they want easy, then it's even if I tell you that this is the best area to focus on, they may not go for it because it's very tough, right? You think about basketball, right? NBA is not easy, but everyone likes NBA. Is that the right thing to do? That means only Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant and all those only can do basketball? Cannot be, man. They all will do it, right? But the question is, are you able to overcome the challenges? If you are able to overcome, then yes, of course, you will be able to do that.
All right. So it's more on the personal level then. It's not really on what
so much
what these sciences tell you. It's how you use that science on yourself. Let's get a little bit more into investment. We have a question on the back end over here. This person has asked, hold on, let me look at the question so I can read it out nicely to you. Okay, he has asked, you are also a strategic property investor. So if someone was looking to emulate your strategy, using property as an investment, what strategies of yours that they could mirror to achieve success?
Well, the first thing is, I think you need good location. That's for sure. That goes without saying. And the second thing, you need to buy it at a value that is obviously cheaper than what the market is offering. Because if you're going to buy above market and there's no opportunity for you to have that gains, so you're buying high and selling low. Okay. So this would be obviously not a very wise thing to actually do. And if you could just buy it at a price that there's a comfortable margin, so which means you already make money on buying. That's the first step. Second step obviously is land, right? If you have land, you buta buy also, long run also can make money one. Yeah, that one is one of the things. As long as there's a road, as long as there's a road going in somewhere, right now, right? Developers will tell you that this is obviously true, and so the thing is, the other thing is to be able to leverage on your you see right now you got to have a credit line. Let's say your own credit is good and you have a credit line, and you are able to acquire properties at a cheaper price, and it is financed. It means you pay very little of your own money and you have a good credit line, and then you can get these things rented out. Then you make on cash flow because now you will have cash in return. So there's another way to do this. So strategically, for me, I only use the Feng Shui part to select the area that is good, so that this area got people rent. Yeah, you go and select bad Feng Shui, then nobody want to rent, nobody interested, stay there. Then it's very hard to get rental, So that would be one of the things I would be looking at.
Okay, and besides properties, what other possible areas do you think people should look into to invest at this time?
Okay. All right, so it depends, I think, on your risk appetite. Where if you are a gambler, then that's not my style, okay? Because I don't look for those. I don't trade. I want to be able to sleep at night. Okay, so my mentor teach me this. Say if you want to make money, you must be able to sleep, right? If you put in so much, you cannot sleep at night, right? Then every day your life no quality, So that's the first thing. So what I would do is I would look at a portfolio that is more able to stand the fluctuations right now. So the more uncertainties that you see that is happening around the world, that means people need to be more dependent on something that is more stable and real. So let's look at our term yesterday we discussed, Ramza, heaven, earth, man, right? We discussed that.
Yes.
So we know that heaven, earth, man, there could be three types of actual money that's circulating in our society right now. Earth that means where we all live, that we have cash, correct?
Yes.
Cash. So governments, I explain in layman, governments print cash. So they print a lot of money right there. But right now, the cash that they print, lucky thing our country is not like this, but then in the States, right, they just keep printing and printing and printing. And that means if you hold the $100 last year and $100 this year, it could reduce in value really because they print so much, right? So this they call this fiat money that's happening right now. So this earth. So when people like this are fearful because one day they're going to discover, oh no, this doesn't have the value anymore. They're going to drop the standards on the American dollar, and then they will go and go for something that's more stable. That's why heaven's money is what is made by Mother Nature, such as precious metal, silver and gold. Right. So part of your portfolio, maybe you want to look at for something that has stability like this. So park some of your savings, for example, in this. Now, again, I'm not giving financial advice. You should go and talk to your financial gurus about this. You ask me how I do it. So I would look at, a safety on this. Okay. And also which government you trust, right? You trust which government that has long-term stability. Maybe you want to get some bonds because it's not high growth, but at least it helps you grow better than your savings in the bank, right? Or not? So
yes.
These are ways to do it. And then of course, as property is very important because property got real value, right? Now the others is just paper, right? And gold also is real, but gold itself doesn't produce you dividends. Okay, you think about it. You buy 100 acres of land. That 100 acre land you might buy for this price, but over the 50 years, that land can produce many things, fruits, buildings, all that keep paying you money on, But you buy gold, right? Gold cannot do that. Gold is just gold. Gold doesn't grow bigger on its own. It was the same weight that you bought. 10,000 years later, it's still same weight. Okay, so the thing is, you got to be able to have a bit that allows you to grow. So property-wise, they can do that. The other thing is to be able to have companies have shares or equity in companies that is run by great management, because the great management obviously will they look after the cash flow, they grow the company, they grow their people. So you want to be part of those, and then you also make good value from there. So if you stretch it across this, then you are not really worried about the financial crisis that's coming.
All right, still on the topic of investments, certain investments give you long-term gains, certain give you short-term gains. Yeah. From the Feng Shui perspective, if you are planning to go into either one of these, is there a difference in approach or application or criteria that we have to look out for?
Yes,
or are both just the same?
Definitely. No, they're not the same, because when we look at in Feng Shui, that time, right? Time that's got long distance time, we call it the long cycles. And then there are short period of time. I give you an example of planetary movements, right? Like you look at planets Jupiter and Saturn, it takes like 20 plus years to make one round around the sun. Okay, but the moon, right? Every day also move once, so it's fast, right? Or not? So
yes,
in 30 days you finish is 1 month gone already, right? So the time itself is relative to how we see it. So when we say we want something that sleep well, when we sleep well, we don't know a trade, then we look at long term. So we decide now to buy it at a cheaper price, and now is where the crisis happens, so things are cheaper, and then hold it for the next 10, 20 years, right? So you can sleep now, don't worry about it, you'll be fine, you don't have to every day go and look at the market. Whereas if you short term, right, every day you wake up, shit, what's the market today? So you have to look at the energy of the month, or even down to the day. Every day your energy level need to be good, so that you are sharp enough to make decisions quick. So that is a different way of using the energies. Okay, so that helps. Now, I just give you an example, Anila. If one day you overeat and you are sleepy, and every day you feel tired, even if you've got investment opportunity, you cannot see on right now. So if your energy level is higher, it gives you a better chance of winning. That's the whole idea behind having positive energy.
That's very clear. Well, we have a question from the audience. I think he is in a very secretive location and secretive mood right now. His name is John Wick, by the way. And his he must not be named, so he's put his name as John Wick.
It's like John Wick. Better not give him a pen.
Yes, we should not. Fortunately, he has a laptop, so he can't do anything much. He has asked, what is your take on cryptocurrency now that China is actively using it?
Well, cryptocurrency is what we call man wealth. Heaven is precious metal, or money is made by heaven, like gold, silver, and all that. Earth is cash printed by governments. Man is crypto because there's no rules. There are no rules about it. Now, because there are no rules about it, you have to be very careful with this. I don't think you should speculate, but it's nice to have a bit just in case, so that your portfolio is balanced, right? But don't go like, everything into this, yeah, because it's the safest thing is to have something that goes through all the seasons. That's the safest. Now, again, I consider myself a safe investor, so I don't speculate, right? As I said, the rule for me, you got to have rules, yeah? Rules is to prevent yourself from doing stupid things. So I have rules for myself to prevent myself from doing stupid things. Investments like that. It's not, making money is not the hard part. Staying rich is the hard part, right? So,
yep.
Because human beings tend to do stupid things to sabotage themselves. So you set up rules. Like rules is you don't put all this money into one thing. So that's my own rule. Right. So for you, maybe you want to put 5% in this just in case. So I'm not sure what is your appetite for that.
And speaking of rules, Dato, yesterday we had spoken about the sustainability of businesses and things like that. So when this crisis happened back in May, it affected everyone. So what were some of your strategies to stay afloat? Maybe you can share them with the viewers.
The thing is, I pivoted very quickly when in March it started. The MCO started when this thing happened. It took, believe it or not, but 2 weeks, so 2.5 weeks before shutting the country down for MCO, we simulated a work from home scenario with our office and team. We actually called for a meeting and met with all the head of departments in my office and say, what if we have to work from home? How would it be like? So let's do a simulation. And so we set up some rules of what we need to do. Now, of course, everyone's just laughing, it won't happen on all this. But I said, you know what, just give it a shot. And when the thing happened, it's still a bit kalam kabut, but at least we knew what to do. We knew how to work from home when we needed to work from home. So that was one. The second thing was we pivoted immediately, as in we converted, 50%. If you think you guys, I mean, anyone out there listening, you guys had a hard time, and we had a hard time because 50% of my entire business is dependent on live events. I need to actually be on stage, talk to people. And my crowds, when I did in the events, is 12,000 people a day. Even my classes are 2,000 people a day. We don't have that anymore. Suddenly all need to cancel, so stress, yeah. So what do we do? So it's either pivot or we're going to lose 50% of the business. So what did we do? We pivoted. So we changed direction, and we start to influence our followers to be able to watch online. So I also need to learn how to speak online, to talk to people that are watching on the screen right now, as if I'm doing a live seminar right now, because it's very different, right? If you talk as if you're doing a online Skype, and you actually do a seminar as in a live event. So I created a home stage. The home stage was done last November. I just made it more into a stage so I can walk around it, talk to different camera directions. So it becomes like a seminar. So that's what we did in the first 2 weeks, and pivoted to that direction. That's what I did.
All right. So in short, you seized the moment. And you use the next best avenue to express yourself and reach out to people.
Well, it's a bit of trial and error, but I'm glad it did work out, Yeah, so it worked out. So I'm thankful for that, and I share this with everybody that they need to actually convert their whatever they're doing to online, and they gotta do it in a way that is better than everybody else.
All right, so a quick pivot is very important in these times, yeah? All right, let's go back to a bit on property and Feng Shui. We have a question over here. Would properties with better Feng Shui potential translate into higher valued properties in the future? Can this be also considered a part of a strategy investment in property?
I think you definitely would want to buy a property with better feng shui potential, for various reasons. Number one, in the long term, there's value in that land. Yeah. Number two, people want to rent it just in case, right? So, and number three, if you're gonna decide to live on it, at least you become better. Okay, as opposed to a place with not good energy, that means even if you live in it, you feel unhealthy, you feel sick all the time, you feel angry all the time, and the place requires fixing. There's leaking here, leaking there, and a lot of problems. And so, for so many good reasons that we want to get a place with better energy, So I would definitely choose a place with better feng shui than not. And why would you want to choose a place with bad feng shui in particular? Who are you going to rent it to, right?
Yeah, it's quite difficult, right? So when looking at these
Yeah.
areas, what are some of the basic pointers besides the running water that we have spoken about earlier? What are the other criteria that perhaps we should look at?
Okay, there are two main criteria here. Yeah. First of all, I would look at areas that do have nice hills and possibly visible water. First two criteria. Yeah. The reason for that is because energy is from the environment, and the environment is Mother Nature. Mother Nature is the hills and water, right? So this would be an easy way to see. Now, one of the logical thing is also part of feng shui is accessibility. Accessibility is called virtual water. Suppose you cannot access that piece of land. You will not have people go there. Therefore, there will no people even got good feng shui, so nobody can see. So remember just now the rendang example? You got the best rendang in the world, but nobody knows. So really it's like this. Let me put it in a way that a lot of people will understand now. Okay. If I wink at a pretty girl in the dark, what happens?
She will not realize it.
Exactly. Nobody knows, right? So if we have the best feng shui in the world and there's no access to it, nobody will know.
Mm-hmm. So the key is to making yourself known and visible to your potential investors or clients, and making them know what you have, your advantages that you have to offer for them.
Of course, all good food also like that, right? You have to let people know the restaurant exists.
Yalah, takkan makan seorang.
Yalah.
All right, we have Heather Koo back online. She has asked, is a property facing south better to invest in?
In general, south and north would be a safe direction because it has less problems than west-facing properties or east-facing properties. Generally, okay, I'm not saying west or east is bad. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm saying if you don't know any feng shui and you just want less headache, north-south is generally fits to more of the majority.
Okay, I think she's planning to buy her house after her marriage because she was the one who asked on the relationship question.
Right.
Okay, so I think we have had quite a fair bit of questions for today that have been answered. I must thank you profusely for joining us today in Setia Virtual-X. It's been a very pleasant 2 days to have you on board, and I'm sure many of us have benefited from your sessions and advice. Thank you so much, Dato Joey Yap.
Thank you so much, Hamza. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our session with the famous, prolific Dato Joey Yap, who is the world's #1 authority in Feng Shui and Chinese metaphysics, sharing his advice on how to cope with the crisis and how to emerge on the other end with success. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned with us because we have more live sessions from our projects coming up. And also, at 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. today, we'll be having Kristan, who was here yesterday. He's back for a second day, and he's going to talk to us on the property investment quadrant in the new normal. And stay tuned after that, because we will have Harith Iskander doing a very short comedy skit from 8 to 9 p.m. tonight. So, like I've said this morning, you and I have a date. Don't be late. See you later.